Welcome back to our international talk show, Briggs on Books. We've been talking to authors today, people who help you get your book published, people who teach you how to self-edit, and my goodness, we have so many authors out there who are writing their books and they're trying to finish. So when somebody can finish and actually get one out there, I'm always very impressed. And I want to start by saying congratulations to our guest, author Lonz Cook. Welcome. You've not just written a book, you've written a whole bunch of them, is that right?
Yes, I have. Actually, I've been writing since 2008.
And how many books do you have published?
So far, I have 7, and 2 in editing.
Yeah, I was just...
7 published, 2 in editing.
Last thing I do right before I go on the air is I punch the guest's name into Amazon just to see if there's anything else I should know. And bam, all these books popped up, Lonz.
Right.
Now
yeah.
You're most...
I typically try to write the series, but it doesn't work that way all the time. But
it doesn't always come out that way. Your latest book, I'm going to put the cover up on the screen here, and it is Diminishing Veil.
Yes, it is.
Diminishing Veil.
A great story. It's a great story from an incident that happened here in Atlanta, and it made me think of a unique situation to cover that incident.
Now tell us a little bit about the book.
Yeah, the book is about a woman's survival from some abuse and scarred. So she has to make modifications in life that will have a positive effect on her and for the future. So it's about a hardship, go through interviews and counseling to find a way to love again. Yeah. That's the bottom line.
Do you think a lot of people would recognize that tale and say, "Wow, something like that happened to me"?
Well, it happens quite often because your first marriage isn't quite the dynamics and successful as you would like it to be, right? So especially when you don't know the person you marry well enough in the beginning, because you have this image of grandeur when you get married and things just don't work out as planned, as assumed. So, and there's always a beast in the closet. Some you can handle and some you can't.
Tell us about the setting in the book. It's all in the South?
It's no, it's not all in the South. It's mid-Atlantic.
Okay.
It starts in the mid-Atlantic. Other than the college, even Maryland, it's mid-Atlantic. So it's not in the South. And the dynamics is because of the job market and the kind of background in technology and manufacturing support things from the University of Maryland. So it was around there. I put the setting in the Maryland area, Maryland and Delaware.
Now, is this a romance story particularly?
It's a hardship to romance. We want to call it contemporary romance because the elements that goes from self-awareness and self-awareness and self-rebuilding that ego, and also the energy that a woman has to open her heart again. So it's kind of like a self-resilience type novel that has romance elements.
And I guess it shows women that you can come out on the other side.
It definitely does, because there's some twists and turns in there that it also has to do with some family issues between of mother and daughter, and that's supporting story, and it does have these elements of surprise where you fall in love again and it wasn't expected, but when you accept your scars of life, that's when things open up.
That's a familiar theme. I guess, and I don't want to spoil the book, but I guess it starts out with your protagonist. She's in college, almost finishing, and she wants a relationship. Maybe she's never even had a relationship.
Right. This is because sometimes young ladies find themselves being busy, and when they come from a disciplined family, they don't get a chance to date and develop those type, skills of dating and relationships, and they always look for someone. A lot of times they look for the fatherly type, someone that reminds them of their dad. And in this case, it happens, in one way at least. right?
She found
So
it.
then they go through trials and tribulations of learning and developing, and some social influences, and there she has it. You know, she's finding her own way.
Who do you think is going to read this book? Who's going to be attracted to this type of book?
Typically, women ages 25 to 70.
25 to
I know
70.
that's varied, but because it's college, when you speak of college, a lot of college young adults like to read about their
Yeah.
college experience. But yet, when you start talking about relationships with mothers and daughters, it it goes to that range because, you know, a mother can be 50 with a college kid of
Yep.
25,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
So, and that's part of it. It's a good part of it. The advice of mom and dad is always important.
It is. It is. Um, so uh, I can't ask you how it turns out, but I'm very anxious to read it to find out. And like I
Yeah,
said,
it's gonna be great. Yeah, it's a good read. It's a
it,
good read.
I've been.
I've had some Kirkus and Midwestern gave good reviews.
Yeah.
So
By the way, I have your.
yeah.
Can you tell the story to our viewers how your name came about, Lonz?
Well, yeah, it's kind of funny because I grew up in an educated family and you know, my parents always told me to speak proper English, right?
Yeah.
But since I grew up in the South, those around me never spoke proper English,
Hmm.
so they cut the terms out, elements of the constants out of the name from Lawrence to Lonz. They never pronounce
Oh.
Lawrence. It's always Lonz. They always take shortcuts, you know, just short of being called Larry, right?
Yeah, I
So
know. Lonz.
thus I use that as my pen name
Well, it
because
came out
I get
really cool.
recognized at home at least.
You're lucky your name was Lawrence
Yeah, it
because you ended
is.
up
It
with something
is.
really cool there.
Yeah.
Lawrence, Lonz, we have your web address on the screen,
Yeah, it's okay.
lonzcook.com. What will our guests find there?
Okay.
What will our guests find at
They'll find some history about my other books. Beg your pardon?
I just what
They'll
will our
find
guests
some
find? Sorry.
history about the other novels. They'll find one novel that became a movie,
Oh, nice.
A Choice to Yield. It's a full featured film, um, and they'll find some of the locations that I did book signings across the country with the other novels.
Okay. Now, well, can we find that movie out there on Netflix or Amazon Prime or something?
You will find it on Amazon Prime, and you'll find it on YouTube as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to find it,
The
Lonz.
title's A Choice to Yield. Yes.
A Trace to
No, A Choice to Yield.
a
It was the
Choice to
second
Yield.
novel I wrote, I
Wow.
authored.
Was that a good
Yeah.
experience getting made into a movie?
Oh, it was a great experience, and it really taught me a lot about storytelling and taking pages to the full screen.
Yeah.
How it answered the question why movies don't show things as well as the book,
Ah,
right?
right.
Because if you put everything from the book, it would be
Yeah.
4 hours long, and nobody's going to sit through a 4 hour, you know, unless it's fast moving. But
Right.
that's a long movie.
Yeah.
So we got it down to 89 minutes, and it's a good story. It's really reflective of society when we talk about dating and interracial dating, and you know things having a very complex a wedding or a family,
Yeah.
a family that's a mixed blend, right?
Well, whenever I watch a movie that came from a book, I always read the book first. So I'm going to do that with
Yeah,
your novel and your movie too. So um,
that would be a great thing to do because you get more from it.
yeah, yeah. Now, when you're writing, do you think in pictures and movies, or do you think in more of a literary
No,
approach?
I typically write what I see when I create, right?
Yeah,
I write things. I'm what we call a panzer. You know, right at the seat of your pants. I don't plot.
Enter.
I don't write an outline. I just can't because I don't know where the story is going to go. And if you, for my style, it's really difficult to write to an outline because
Yeah,
things happen that would be nice to put into a story, and it makes it reality.
hmm,
I'm more closer to reality as a writer
that's how life
than a
works.
fiction.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Panther. I like
yeah.
that. Um,
So
Lonz,
I use a lot of venues, local venues, and I use actual locations and those type things.
and you said we
So
said it before we came on the air, but where are you located?
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
That's the hometown.
Pretty
But I travel quite often, so I end up creating stories from across the country.
across the country. Now it's pretty mild weather there today in Atlanta.
Oh, it's hot and humid.
Hot.
Typical Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Typical Georgia in the south, in summertime.
Yeah. I can't wait to
It
visit
gets
Atlanta.
almost up to 100. So
Yeah, that's
it's,
hot for
it's
there, huh?
yeah, it's hot. It is hot.
Anyway,
Yep.
we're way past time, Lonz. I'd love to talk to you for hours, but they don't let me. Any last thoughts for our viewers?
Yeah, take a chance. Sometimes the unknown jewel is when you take a chance on an author you hadn't heard about, and a lot of people are surprised at the kind of novels that I've created. Um, you can't follow the crowd all the time. You have to go outside of off the beaten path.
Tell me,
Give it a chance.
where can our
You'll be
viewers?
surprised at what you get.
Here's a book cover again. Where can our viewers get the book?
Right now we're in Amazon, and I will have them in stores within the next 3 months. And I say that because distribution has been signed, and I have to get these books to the distributor, and the distributor has to get them out. So we're in that process right now. So either you can get it on Amazon, Books a Million website, or if you're patient, within a month, I should have those in
In the
a month
stores.
and a half. They should be on the shelf in local stores.
Yeah, I'm one who spends an awful lot of time trying to decide what I'm going to read next. So if I can see the author and hear
Right.
them and hear their backstory like we just did, it sure helps me pick out the book. So I hope our viewers will go and get this book and look at all of Lonz Cook's books. They're right there on Amazon. Just type Lonz Cook. He's the only Lonz Cook on there. So thank you, Lawrence.
Right.
Thank you for being on.
Thank
the show.
you.
All right.
Appreciate the offer.
And we'll be back with more Briggs on Books right after this.